lift and climbing the stairs. This lift is supported by 7 ropes sharing the weight, and each one of them is capable of carrying the whole lift by itself.
Even if they did all break, there's yet another safety device called the governor.
If this rotates just 10% too fast, this disc starts to come out and catches this switch, turning off all the electrics. If it goes slightly faster still, this whole disc locks up completely.
This pulls in wedges under the car, jamming it against the guide rails. The modern equivalent of Otis's safety.
This is the lift motor. It's connected via a brake and a gearbox to the pulley drum and the cables. If all the electric fails, it's still just about possible to move the lift by hand.
So it's always possible to haul any passengers trapped inside to safety.
This is the Express Lift Company in Northampton, and this tower is where they test their lifts. As buildings got higher, there was a demand for lifts to travel faster. This motor powers a high-speed lift that travels the whole height of the tower. Speeding up a lift is quite simple. The motor is just connected directly to the pulleys without any gears in between to slow it down. High-speed lifts were first used on the Woolworth building in 1913, and they've changed very little ever since. The only limitation on speed is comfort, which depends mainly on the car's acceleration. If I stand on some weighing scales as I go down, my normal weight's about 10 stone, my apparent weight should drop. Yeah, there it goes. Sort of instant dieting. If the acceleration was any greater, I would feel I'd left my stomach behind. And then when it stops accelerating, my weight goes back to normal. And finally, when we get to the bottom and it decelerates, my apparent weight should increase, sort of literally weighing me down. Yeah, there it goes.
Different countries tolerate different accelerations, Japan the least and Australia the most. About 10 stories is considered the maximum practical distance for a lift to accelerate, and this effectively determines the maximum practical speed, about 20 foot per second in this case.
Although the mechanical design of lifts has changed little in the last 80 years, they did used to look rather different. Like most lifts of the 20s, this had no separate shaft. It was built into an existing stairwell, all protected by this decorative steel mesh. This lift would originally have been worked by a full-time operator. The biggest change in lifts since the 20s has been to automate the control gear, removing the need for an operator. This has been partly modernised now, but originally both doors would have had to been shut by hand. Without an operator, it was easy to forget to close the doors when you left the lift, and then the caretaker would have to climb up and shut them before the lift would work again. Then there was just a single control for up and down, and needed some skill to stop the lift in exactly the right place.
New York was reduced to chaos in 1937 when the operators went on strike.
2,000 office buildings are affected. 1.5 million New Yorkers are grounded. The strikers object to a raised hourly pay rate, but a reduced work week. Result, less take-home pay. A few inventive geniuses find ways to have business almost as usual. But for the most perpendicular city in the world, an elevator strike is no laughing matter. How would you like to walk up from way down there?